Rep. Andy Harris denies that the Republican tax overhaul represents another attempt at trickle-down economics. "Oh, no, not at all," Harris told NPR Morning Edition host David Green this week. "This is not trickle-down. And I agree with the extremely conservative Maryland congressman. It's not trickle-down economics at all. It's trickle-up. More precisely, it's gush-up. There's a real gusher of cash, in the form of tax cuts, going to corporations and the wealthiest Americans at the top of the income scale." The Tax Policy Center says the biggest benefits will accrue to households making between $308,000 and $733,000. "How many people flying in that rare financial atmosphere do you suppose Harris serves?" "There are 272,561 households in the 1st Congressional District, and only 6.2% of them have a median income above $200,000, according to the Census Bureau. A triumphant President Donald Trump and jubilant fellow Republicans celebrated the passage of their $1.5 trillion tax overhaul Wednesday as a historic victory for the American people. The American people, however, will need some convincing. As Trump and GOP lawmakers gathered at the White House, a triumphant President Donald Trump and jubilant fellow Republicans celebrated the passage of their $1.5 trillion tax overhaul Wednesday as a historic victory for the American people. The American people, however, will need some convincing. As Trump and GOP lawmakers gathered at the White House, the median household income in the district, which spans the Eastern Shore and part of Carroll, Harford, and Baltimore counties, is about $69,000. Nearly 70% of the households have incomes below $99,000, and while many Marylanders in that group will see a tax cut, it will be much smaller, percentage-wise, than what the rich get, and the benefits won't last as long, according to analysts. As Howard Gleckman, a fiscal policy expert with the Tax Policy Center, put it in his TaxVox blog, the tax cut for the middle class will pay for about 7 months of gasoline, while the cut for wealthy Americans will get them a Mercedes C-Class coupe, assuming they don't already have one or two. Here's what the Tax Policy Center says about the bill that Harris and other Republicans are crowing about, which passed Wednesday. Higher income households receive larger average tax cuts as a percentage of after-tax income, with the largest cuts as a share of income going to taxpayers in the 95th to 99th percentiles of the income distribution. So Harris and other Republicans can and will keep calling their tax package a benefit to the middle class, but its primary purpose is to reward the rich, run up deficits, and eventually starve the federal government of essential revenue for just about every function outside of defense. Gleckman, a Tax Policy Center senior fellow, says middle-income taxpayers would pay about $900 less than under current law, about 1.6% of after-tax income. By contrast, he says, the highest-income 1% of households, who make about $733,000 and up, would get an average tax cut of roughly $50,000, or 3.4% of their after-tax income. Those in the top 0.1%, who will make $3.4 million or more next year, would get an average tax cut of about $190,000, or 2.7% of their after-tax income.